Okay, time to do some game dev stuff. Let's see if everything's booping. All right, I think that looks about right. Maybe. Yes. Okay. Well, let's see what we did last week. We started messing with this UI elements. So I wanted to build up some cards to stick on the screen. Zoom in on those guys. 2D. Where'd they go? There they are. Some cards on the screen along with the pass button so that when it's your turn or the player's turn, they can pick, do I want to use a card that'll let me move 2 spaces or get an extra move out of a specific monster, something like that. And we have kind of a very rudimentary card set up. Let's see, where is our card class? I did hide it down here. First thing, let's move this into its own CS file. Snaky guy over there. So right now we only have move distance cards. I think we'll be okay with that for now. Let's get those going, and see where that takes us. Yeah. So we've got our deck that we're going to instantiate and start pulling cards out, right? So we can yank a card out of this deck. We set up a queue, so this is the draw pile, discard pile, draw a card. So I think first things first for data structure, let's say whenever we draw the last card, or we just draw the last card, we should shuffle the deck, right? Take the discard pile, stuff it back into the draw pile. So say drawn card equals, we're going to steal this guy. Boop, draw pile, DQ, right? Let me say if, and then let's return the drawn card, right? Because we don't want to reshuffle that, right? We're going to return that card. And then we're going to say discard pile dot select, and then we can say C I think it's random. Or no, we're going to order by, right? Order by C, and we can say math dot wrong math random derp random in Unity engine dot range, or is it next value? So that's going to give us a 0 to 1. It's just going to sort all the cards for us. To list, and then we're going to shove that back in to the discard pile. All right, order by to list. Let's see, why are you angry? Cannot convert source type. Oh, because it's a queue. Let's say convert it to a list. No? I haven't really worked with queues a whole lot. Cannot convert list card to queue card. Okay. Now we're going to do order by card. Random value to, how do we for each? And then we want to run over it and just select them off that list and turn it back into a queue. Let's just do var random cards. All right, and then for each random cards, random card, we're going to say draw pile dot in queue random card. So that'll just, we're gonna grab them as a list, we're gonna order them randomly, and then just each one we're gonna stuff back into the draw pile because we've DQ'd them all. Yeah, and then we'll return the card we drew. That seems vaguely reasonable. I like it. All right. That was one of the things I wanted to clean up from last week. So we sort of have, so we can draw a card, right, and we get a card back, and then we can discard a card. We stick it back into our discard pile. We can stuff a bunch of cards in. We just have a list of starting cards. I don't think we use this. Nope. All right, so let's just yank that guy out of there. Let's see where we're using our deck yet. Okay, we have a deck, instantiate a new deck. This is all in the startup. And we need to create player hands, right? So each player is going to have a hand. So I want to associate like a game object with a player along with their hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this from just a list of like random game objects into a list of an object. So I'm going to just stuff it up here. Public class, we'll just call it a player. I don't think we have a class called player yet. Right, and a player is going to consist of a game object, right? So we can move them around. We'll call it Geo, game object. We're going to have a list of cards for their hand. Right? And then we can do things like, in turn order, something like that. But that's we'll do that later. But right now, I want to swap out this. Where'd it go? Excuse me. Instead of having game objects, we're going to have player. And players we use all over the place. So this is going to be a big refactor. We can say new player, and then we're just going to use the initializer. Go equals this. Close that out. And then we're going to say hand equals a new list. Just instantiate a new list. No commas. And then, we have the other players in here, but we also don't have the other players in there. Let's see where else we're not compiling. Players, current player, dot game object dot transform dot game object dot transform game object dot transform do move game object. A lot of this is built to use just their game object. P dot game object. P players all, yep. And that should do it. So we haven't really changed any functionality. We've just stuffed this game object into another class that has some other info with it. Let's yank these guys out. There we go. Let's pop back into Unity, let it compile, and see what we missed. Oh, and because I think I set up an assembly reference that class. Did it get put into scripts? Sweet, got put into scripts. Let's see why can you not find it? List player. Clear, run, save. Did it put it into a weird namespace? No, it's just some usings. Did I make it private? No, public class player. Let's take a look. It's same. Let's see if we can look at the file system, assets, scripts. No asm.def. Yeah, why are you not finding? Do we need to save it, force a new compile? Oh, come on, dude. Let's see. It's just a plain, class, right? Just like our card is. I don't think it needs a constructor. Namespace, these guys should be next to each other, right? Yeah. Do we have another script called player? I don't think we have another script called player. At least not in this assembly. Player could not be found. Alright. Look at that. We're 10 minutes in and I've already found an impassable problem. Let's just rename this. What should we name this? We should name this player data. That sounds good. So now this is a list of player datas. Right. This doesn't have any other references to it. Hit save, compile. Wait for some progress bars to happen. That was it. I guess there's something else called player somewhere in Unity. But let's give it a run. See what happens. Hopefully, it just functions as normally because we're hiding stuff inside another class, it's just a C# class, so no big deal. Yeah, looks like we're working okay. Yeah, can't get through walls. Oh yeah, we can move really far. Forgot about that. All right, cool. So now that we have a player and the player has a hand, we are gonna draw 3 cards. Yeah, let's draw 3 cards. And should we do that from our deck, right? So draw, 3 cards. Or just draw card, draw card, draw card. Let's do it, draw card, draw card, draw card. Do it in here. Private list of card, draw cards. How many? Number. Then we can say deck. Cards equals new list of card type. And we say cards dot add deck dot draw card, and then we just gotta return cards. Nailed it. And then we just loop this guy. 4 upper is number, not no, number int I, boop, nailed it. All right, and we want a var there. Okay, so now we just need to do hand equals draw cards, and we'll say 3. There's not a semicolon there. So now every time we instantiate a new player, their hand will get instantiated to have three cards in it. Because we'll create a list, cram 3 cards in it, return those cards. And then here, do turns. Let's do a breakpoint here. And debug, and then we'll take a look at it. If we connect. Excuse me. I don't know why I gotta get those assemblies working because it'll slightly speed up those compiles, because then it'll only compile our dependent code and not everything. All right, so we broke point. We got a breakpoint right here. This. Do we have players? Where are they? Players. We have 1 player. Here's the 0 player, his hand, 3 cards, a 1, a 2, and a 3. Oh, look at that. Neat. Right, we can stop debugging, go back, stop playing. And I think that's because, 1, 2, 3. Right. We could do something like shuffle. Let's see. gonna look this up real quick. C#, shuffle Q? I don't think you can shuffle a Q, can you? Randomizing a Q? Yeah. Create a list. Order by them. Yeah. I wonder if we can just do like a void shuffle, right? And then do we shuffle the draw pile or do you shuffle the discard pile? What if we do either, right? Give me a list of cards. And then we can just do this guy. But we want to go from a queue. All right, never mind. This is gonna be too funky, right? Because then we have to deal with a queue, turn it into a list, back into a queue. Let's try it. All right. I am very decisive today. It's a good time. And it's essentially this, right? But we take the cards, to list them, sort them by random value for each random cards, and then we want to return the new queue. I guess we could use the old queue. Let's not. Var new queue equals new queue of card. We'll give it a length of cards.length because that's how long it's going to be. Just new queue. Ooh. I always want to use new in variable names, and I always it doesn't bite me, but it does not go well for the autocomplete. New queue, in queue, random card. Okay, so if you give it a queue, right, cards, and it will take that queue, create a new queue, turn the original queue into a list, and then shuffle, and then it will put that list back into a queue, and then return the new queue. So then down here we can say draw pile equals shuffle discard pile, right? And then we say discard pile dot clear, because this is gonna leave this one alone, right? It's just gonna create a new list. It's gonna essentially duplicate them, right? And then we want to get rid of all the cards, so they're all gonna go from the discard pile, get shuffled, go into the draw pile, and then we empty out the discard pile. And then here we can say draw pile equals shuffle, draw pile. Just assign it back to itself. Right, so we're gonna create a draw pile and an empty discard pile, and then enqueue a bunch from these draw piles. We're gonna pass them. It's gonna shuffle them. We're just gonna assign it back. It's not the most memory efficient, but we're not dealing with a million cards here. I would fathom a guess that this would work until 100,000 cards, something ridiculous that this card game is not going to approach. So let's try this again. We're going to debug, let that attach, let some progress bars go by. Eventually, a couple of more of these. There we go. Now we should run it. It'll break. Boop. Come on. Queue empty. Draw a card. So we have some sort of ordering. Where are you getting called from? How is this getting called for returns? Deck, draw card. I put this somewhere. Not smart. Let's draw cards. So the deck gets instantiated, right? Create a new draw pile, shuffle it, draw a card, and it should DQ from the draw pile. I missed something. Alright, well let's try it from here. If this ever wakes back up. There we go. Little progress bar action. Okay. New queue. Alright, so the incoming is 8. And the outgoing is 8. Alright, great. I'm going to step out of this. Boop. Shuffle. Great. Let's throw a point there. Go ahead and continue. Draw pile. This. Draw pile. There are 8 cards there. Oh. Every time you draw a card, it's shuffling. I see it now. And then something weird's happening. So, draw a card. So, if the draw pile count length 0, shuffle the discard pile into the draw pile. That's kind of funny. All right. Try this one more time. Almost there. Because once we get this sort of working, once we have the data there, we can just represent it on screen and, you know, go into some callback hell, and it'll be a good time. All right, well, true. This player, where is he? There he is. Players 0, hand 3 cards. We have a 2, a 3, and a 1. All right, they're in a different order. It's still 1, 2, 3, but different order nonetheless. Great. Let's stop debugging. Great. So now that our data structure is set up, so our player has cards, we need to be able to stick those on screen. So what I'd like to do is we're going to grab one of our cards. Let's put that out of there. And I'm just going to stick a text object in it. And that text object is going to be, you know, like count. Move distance. And it's just going to have some text in it. It's going to be like a 1, a 2, a 3, you know, all that good stuff. And we're going to expand you out so that you're centered. Center. Let's make it black vertex color. Yep, all the way up. Yeah, I think that's good. We don't need too terribly much other. Oh yeah. So this is the material, and it's going to affect everything, and then this vertex color only affects this one. Anyway, so we have this card, and we want to create like a prefab for it. So our card's going to be inside a holder, right? So I'm going to create a new empty. Excuse me, and I'm going to call this card holder. Right? And I'm going to attach this to the bottom center of the screen. I'm going to stretch it. Let's also set the pivot. And I am going to create a horizontal layout group. And I am not going to force expand width. And now, if we create prefabs of this, prefabs, card, drop you in there, boom. Now if we drop these in the card holder, to the left, middle center, there we go. So now if we drop stuff in here, and I duplicate these, they're going to show up as, discrete cards. We'll give them a little spacing. Padding, let's just do 5 all around. Boop. 5, 10. It's up there. I'm not a UI designer. But also, it's important to have this pass button in there. So I'm going to stuff the pass button in there. And even though this is a button and not a card, it'll still do the layout stuff for us. We don't have to worry about it. Great. Now we need something to manage these cards. So let's do... Should we just add a script? Let's just add a script. Card holder. Great. This is probably in the root. Yep. Ooh, come on. Compile. Hard drive. Having a hard time. There we go. You go in scripts. Ooh, it did not like that. Open up our card holder. Cool. So it's going to be, the card holder is going to have that transform. So we just need game object of card prefab, right? And then we need a list of game objects. Let's say current cards. There we go. Start. Current cards equals new list. Perfect. Nailed it. And then we don't need an update. We need a public void setup. And we're going to give it a list of card objects. Say cards. And then we are going to set up. So first thing, I want to clear out all of the current cards. So I'm just going to for each, current cards, card, and I'm going to destroy it. Come on, destroy, destroy card dot game object. And so if we ever, I'm putting game object here, even though it is a game object, but like, let's say we turn these into like, an instance card, right? It'll still reference that game object. We're gonna go through, get rid of them all. Current cards dot clear, and then we're gonna say for each cards var card. Gonna reuse that variable name because it's a different scope. Say new card. See, I'm doing it again. New card equals instantiate, and we're gonna say card prefab. We need to give it this as its parent. So we're gonna say transform parent. We're going to say transform, which is whatever object the script is on, which is fine. And then we're going to say new card dot find. Get component in children. Come on. Get component in children. And we are going to look for a TMP text. And it's going to find one because I know it's there. We're going to say text equals card.moveDist. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't like that because this is an integer string. Let's just two-string it. Nailed it. And then last thing, we need to add our new card to our current cards. Current cards dot add new card. Bam. We need a reference to this in our game. Right? Game is getting pretty big. That's all right. Where can this go? This can go. We'll go in here. Public card holder. So now when it's someone's turn, where's the player turn? I'm gonna hide this real quick. Boop. And we're gonna find, whenever we pop up the player, or, well, because you want to do it before? No. So the rule is you roll a dice, right? And it picks what enemy you're gonna move, and you move it that distance, and then it's your turn. So, I think it's here. So now it's move player, right? So we're gonna say card holder setup, and we're gonna say players per player turn dot hand. Right, so this will set up whatever current player's in. Let's give that a test. Let's see how we're doing. We got to set up our card holder. All right, card holder. We need a prefab. Boop. And then in our game, we need access to that card holder. Bam. All right, and I'm gonna delete these guys. Let's give her a run. Do some progress bars. Let's move our character. Ghost. All right. So now you see we have these three. Well, I clicked, but let's move again. So now the player has these three options. I can click, 1, 3, or 2, or pass. And you notice that the pass is on the left this time and the other ones are at the right, is because these get added at the end, so we can just add them at the beginning so that the pass is always on the right. Card holder. Instantiate, transform. I think it's new card dot order. Index. Shoot. New card dot transform dot. Is it the index? Get sibling index? Gets the sibling index. Set sibling index. Let's try that. So I think this will put each one at the top. Probably gonna have to Google that one. We will check in a second. Alright, get our ghost to him. There we go. Yep, setting him to 0, stuffed him to the left. So, next step, I think, is to hide all these guys. The pass button still works. While we don't need them. Or, yeah, we'll hide them when we don't need them. Because after that, so we display them, right? And then we can either say, you're stuck, but later on we're going to add, get out at, escape an enemy. Even if you're stuck, you can play the card and, move one. But I think this is where our... we're going to skip that. So if the player is stuck by the enemy, now otherwise we are going to pick a card, right? So we wait and we pick a card and then we move, we calculate this distance, right? That's our player distance. How do we want to do that? We are in a big old coroutine. So we just wait for it, right? Yield, return, start, coroutine, wait for card pick. Right, so we can start a enumerator. Yield, return null. Okay. And then we can set up some variable like when a card gets clicked, it's going to set up a variable to move that distance. This class is getting very big. So do something like this, wrong button. Introduce variable. And then let's say public void card picked dist. Just create a method for it. And we can say, let's move that guy up. I'm gonna make this outer scope. Nope, not far enough. We're gonna put this guy way up here. We're gonna say private int player selected move distance. That is a great variable name. And then down here, where'd it go? There you go, player selected move distance. And then when they pick a card, we're just gonna boop. And to flag that we are waiting for that, ooh, -1. We're just gonna move -1 because we don't have a -1 card right now, so we say while move distance -1 yield return. We're just gonna wait, right? So this right now should wait forever until we hook these guys up. But we can set that up pretty quick too. Let's just do it in a, let's see. So our card holder is responsible for instantiating. And this is where we tie into our buttons. So like, they don't have to be just images. They can actually be buttons, so we can tie into them. I wonder if we can just on-click an image. So let's take a quick old look. Yeah, we can do an on pointer click. Buttons kind of do it for us. So let's turn these into buttons. After this loads. Card. Oh, just double click it. There we go. So now you're going to be just a button. I think we might have to rebuild this. Let's just rebuild it. Card holder. Do we want to? Yeah, let's just duplicate the pass button. Oops. Duplicate. Call this card. Delete this guy. Boop. And the cool thing with a button, there is already a Text Mesh Pro inside of it. So we don't even need to change any of that. Let's make this, again, not a UI designer. So I want to be a little bigger. 80? Should we make them vaguely card shaped? Ooh, not 7. 100 by 80. Yeah, I think I can get down with that. Make this guy the same height. Now, boop. Now we essentially have the same thing. Ooh, I'm clicking all over the place. Now we have the same thing, except there's a button in there now. Just have to re-hook up this stuff. Boop. There we go. And in here, we can say new card dot get components button, and then we can do something with it like on click. Ooh. Dot add listener, and then we can set up a callback. Let's do an action. It has to be Unity action, doesn't it? Maybe not. I wonder if we can do lambda. this is going to change, but I'm a card. I think that'll work. Let's test it out. So what I want to do is I want to pass in a callback and enter into the domain of callback how, where I'm going to say set up all the cards, use this callback, and there, I'm a 3 card. I'm a 1 card. I'm a 2 card. All right, that's the fake one that we stuck in there. Call this method when you get clicked, and don't worry about the rest of it. So I think I can statement. I don't think it's a statement lambda. No, I want this to be. I want to introduce a variable here. If I can type refactor, introduce parameter, call it action. All right, that works. And then in here, game, we should get a squiggles somewhere where we call setup. No. Setup. Where does setup get called? There it is. Oh, automatically put it in there. Nice work. Here we can say, what do we call it? On click something, card picked. There you go. Card picked. And we need to give it type. Just int it, right? Card dot just. That's not right. Is it invoke? No. There's a way to do this where I can invoke a Unity action with a parameter. So I want to like pass a Unity action with parameter. Let's see if I can find a quick answer. But you can pass it. Like, how do I? That is not helpful. Stack Overflow, not helpful. Action, and then I don't think it takes a type, because like actions take types, right? Action and of an int, and here I can do this. Pass it a fake one, and then introduce. No. There we go. So I'm going to return this to an action, but I'm wrapping that action up in a Unity action. This is just called an action. Callback. On click callback. On click callback. There we go. And then in here we can do X card picked X. Yeah, perfect. So now it should do this guy. So, debug log card was picked. Oop, dist. Perfect. And we got rid of that out of here. Yep. So now when we set these up, it should wait for us to click a card, and then we get to move that distance. The ghost. Boom. All right. Oh, pass disappeared. But so we got to pick a card. Let's move 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam. Card 3 was picked. I'm gonna move. Oh, I gotta move the ghost. Oh, I didn't get rid of those. You gotta pick a card. I'm gonna move 1. Now I can only move to these 2 spaces. Boop. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move 3. Boom. Nice. Ooh-wee. So it's pretty well hooked up. Where are these guys coming from? Bam. And then let's get rid of this. And then, so here, where'd it go? Card, boop, boop, boop. So move distance. So we need to do this guy. Pick a card. Wait for the card pick. And if we don't have anywhere to go, I don't think we need to do this anymore. I think we're about to hit a big refactor right here. Because we want to set this active so that the player can choose it, right? Set it active. Do move. And what does pass do? I forget. Ooh. Do move? No. Let's go look it up. Wait for a couple loads. Pass button. What do? We do game pass turn. All right. Where is pass turn? Oh yeah. We change our selecting state to past. We already have a mechanism here to do moves. So we can add something here and say like selecting card. Ooh. Card. I am not able to type. Now, instead of waiting for -1, we can say, what do we call it? What is the state? Selecting state. Convenient. Selecting state equals selecting, I think it is, right? So while I think we're going to jump like a couple really quick here, but that's all right. So while selecting state is equal to selecting card, we're just going to wait. And then once that's done, it'll be done selecting and return back up here. And then it will switch off to like past, right? So we'll go into selecting card, and if we select a card, we'll go into selecting, which is like selecting the move. Let's switch. Let's rename that now. Selecting move. There we go. We'll go into selecting move. Do our move. We'll be done selecting, or we'll go into past. So selecting card, we'll go to past, which will also kick us out of this card picked. Or sorry, wait for card pick. So we will no longer be selecting. We'll get kicked out. And then, so after here, because we just set it to, where'd it go? Pass. Where's pass? Pass. Do move. Pass turn. So it just sets it. Yep. So if we click the button, we just pass the turn, which is fine. So we won't have to do, this is getting super huge, any of this stuff. So if we're stuck by enemy, move player, set up, Alright, if you're not stuck by an enemy, too scared to move. Alright, right here. If selecting state equals not passed. Selecting move, right? Otherwise, so we're gonna do all this. But if it's passed, right? If we passed, then we don't want to do that. So if we come out of wait for card pick and they pick a number, right? Selecting move. We'll switch to selecting move, right? Go into selecting move, do the select move, yada yada yada. We'll do the move, so on and so forth. But if we select past, we'll jump out of that. And then go back through our loop, right? Draw a card. Discard the card. Oh, this we were just messing with. This guy can go away. Okay. Let's give that a try. That was a lot. Do a little progress barring. Click play. Don't lose focus. Alright, we're gonna move you. Alright, now we have the pass button. Oh, what did I do? Move the ghost. Move the skeleton. Something screwy. Okay. We're just gonna move some. For some reason, it's skipping over it now. Okay, because we messed with the whole state. Alright, see, are we stuck by an enemy? No. Player selected move distance. Activate the pass button. Oh, we gotta set up. No, we set up already, right? Card holder setup. Callback. I guess we could do this later. Let's set up right at the beginning. So if we're not stuck, then we can move. Set up the cards. Make it active. Wait for a pick. While we are picking a card, we never set it, right? Selecting card. That's why I was skipping over. So we start with selecting card, then we wait for selecting card to be not selecting card, either passed or move, then we pass or move. That was interesting. Okay. We're getting there. I mean, that's like the core of pretty much any card game, right? Wait for the user to pick a card, do whatever the thing is on the card, right? I'm going to move 3, move on. Send the ghost. We're going to pass. Okay, he just sits there. Do the ghost again. I'm going to move 1. Well, so we gotta get rid of the cards too, because they're still here. Awesome. Boop, 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 boop. Where do we do the pass button? False. So here. So if we have options, no matter what, we are going to set the pass button to invisible. No, we gotta go one more. We gotta clean up. So like we did some setup here, right? And then we gotta do some cleanup. And then I want to do something like card holder dot clear. Void, don't throw. And then clear is going to be this. we're just going to call that again. Right, so when you set up, it's going to clear it, which means get rid of all the current ones, clear this out, and then do all the things. And then later, like if we do setup again, right, once we're done, we can clear this, it will get rid of them all. And then when we do setup later, it'll call clear, but this will be empty. So, you know, it's very, very little overhead. Wait for a couple of progress bars to go by. Something's angry. Oh, I didn't hit play. Maybe a couple more progress bars. So we're gonna move the ghost, and the player, like I can't move him anywhere yet because we're not moving yet. And so I'm gonna say 2, right? And I'm gonna go 2 steps. Boom. Skeleton's turn. All right, skeleton's gonna go 2 steps. I'm gonna go 1 step. 1. Skeleton's turn again. I'm gonna pass. Cool. I'm gonna pass the skeleton. We're gonna go 2 steps, and we're gonna hide in the closet. Ghost. See, now we can jump out, run away. Ghost. See, now the ghost can't get you. Pass. Perfect. Nailed it. Next thing is, so these cards are never getting discarded. So we're never getting a new one. So, so if we select a card, right, we should discard that card, pick a new one, right? So we always have 3 cards in our hand. But let's do, when do we want to do that? Let's just do it right away, right? It'll yeah. Wait for the card pick. So once we picked a card picked, let's do it here, right? So this means we have picked a card. So we're gonna say, let's do it with the player stuff. Let's just do it in here. We're gonna do it right here. So we're gonna say deck dot discard card. Oh, we need to know which card to discard. Which card did they pick? So let's modify not just the distance. Let's swap this guy up to be the card. Oop. Card. And then we can say this is also a card. And now it's not player selected move distance, it is player selected card. Ooh. I don't know where this is going. Card picked. Player selected card equals card. Now, this doesn't need to be instantiated. Player selected card dot move distance, right? Because we only have move cards. And then here we do discard player selected card, and we need to remove it from the player's hand, right? So we do, where is he? It's players per player, this guy. So let's do it in here. Private, void, discard, and draw. And we do a player data, player, and card. Right, so we do player dot hand dot remove card. And then we can do deck dot discard card. Then we can do player dot hand dot add deck draw card. Right, so we remove the card from the player's hand. We discard that card, so we put it in the discard pile, and then we grab a new card. We can do here, and we can do discard and draw, and we do player, current player, and player selected card. So you might be asking, well, how do we know that this player is holding this card? We don't. But when we set up, so we set up the player's card, like we're going to pass off the hand, and it's just going to get passed back to here. So the only options to get passed back are these. And we need to go to our card holder and change this from move distance to just the card. There we go. So because we set it up every time, we can only pass back valid cards. We can do some checking, make sure that their hand contains the card that they're trying to play, but we'll just trust for now that we did it right, and everything will be fine. All right, you can pass. All right, we have a 1, and a 2. I'm gonna play the 2 and move, and then we're gonna move the skeleton, and now we have a 3, a 1, and a 1. So I'm gonna play the 3. Now we have 3 1s. Sweet. So it looks like we picked another one. We are successfully removing these. So I think once you pick a card, we should hide this little UI, right? I don't want to be able to click them all. Yeah, that's no bueno. So looks like we clicked a bunch from them. Anyway, let's hide it. And game. So we started selecting a move. Let's do. So if we selected something, we want to clear everything, but we want to do it right away, and we also want to do it. So I don't think we need these anymore. So we can just slam it right there. So they pick a card. This stuff goes away. If we're selecting a move, we'll do the move. If we passed, we pass. I think that'll be better. You're probably also asking, why don't we put animations and stuff in? Be like, that's secondary. We could just put them in the coroutines, and then the coroutines won't come back until the animation finishes. But once we get the whole flow down, we can start adding those little flourishes. Right. Skeleton, go. I'm gonna move 1 there. Nice. And pass 1. Neat. And we can also change these top things, but I think this is working. We're doing good. That's pretty much all I wanted to get done tonight. Look at that. We got just under an hour to implement a deck, card, and the UI, stuff. Because I always make the greatest UIs. They are phenomenal. Cool. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's do a really quick survey. So we created a deck. The deck manages just 2 queues. We're going to draw a pile and a discard pile. We draw cards. We make sure that if there's no cards left, we shuffle all the discarded piles back into it. Clear it out. We can shuffle the cards. We've got a card, which is really just a container for an integer. We can expand that later. We've got some player data now, so it wraps up the game object and what their hand is. Right, so cards will go from the draw pile to the player's hand, and then from the player's hand, they'll get picked, put back into the discard pile, and the next time someone draws, it'll draw out of the pile. We have some nice UI managers, so we give it a list of cards and a callback for those cards. So when they're selected, it'll call them back, and it displays, what the card is. This can get fancier to be like, instead of being like just card.move distance, we can say like, what type of card is this? What thing should we instantiate? Do some different art, fun stuff. The game, we added so much code here. This needs quite a bit of refactoring. It's getting pretty chonky, especially this do turn method. It's what is it, 90 to 149? That's like 60 lines. That's a pretty chonky method. So I think in the future, or before next stream, I might come in and clean this up a little bit. But we can, if the player's not stuck, we can display their cards, display their hand, display the pass option. Set our state. We wait until they pick a card. Once they pick a card, we hide their cards, hide the pass button, and hide their cards. If they picked a card, we do that move, right? Passing whatever that move distance was. If they can't move, or if they can move, yay. If they're stuck for some reason and they also got to pick a card, we can't go anywhere. We discard that card, right? We discard the card from the player. We add a new card to their hand, and then we, increment. This is pretty old code. We go to the next player, go to the next enemy, and that's it. That's the whole game. We just keep going until everybody quits in a rage. Cool. I have no idea what to do next. Maybe some fancier cards. Maybe like a escape card. So if there's an enemy on top of you, you can escape, even though they're there. I think that'd be pretty fun. Maybe do a little bit, do another art pass. I think that would be pretty cool too. Get some card art in, a little bit more interesting visual flair. But I think that's it for this week. So. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as they say. Trying to do this every week. If you're watching this sometime in the future, hope you're enjoying. Feel free to send me some questions. Love answering questions. But otherwise, have a good week, y'all.